Disclaimer: the following content you are about to see contains the occasional usage of copyrighted material and various intellectual properties. Let it be known that we, and by extension, the world creators, don't own anything you see here. All copyrighted material belongs to their respective owners, and what is seen here is simply a creative work made for fun. With this in mind, please don't sue us and enjoy the show. Okay. Where am I this time? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no. Okay, we need to get out of here now. Hello there, and welcome to Across the MetaVRse, our journey into virtual reality as an emerging platform. In this show, I am your guide, as we go over news of this developing avenue and take a look at content made by various community members. Advancements and changes are being made nearly every day to this budding medium. It's very easy to get lost in everything that's going on, so be sure to stick by my side as we venture out across various worlds, both familiar and strange. You might just find something that catches your interest. If you find something for us to cover, please be sure to reach out and give us your suggestions. Input is what keeps this show going, so please don't hesitate to tell us about something neat you found in travels of your own. Now, come along as I show you what you're missing right now. Hello everyone, welcome to today's adventure. It's great to have you here. For those of you who are new to the show, I'm Apollo Argyle, leader of our expedition across the world of virtual reality. Today we have some pretty frustrating news regarding an announcement that just came out from Meta. Meta Horizon, the VR technology wing of Meta, has decided to raise the price of their headsets once again. The lower end models of the Meta Quest will increase from $300 to $350. Alongside that, the higher end version of the device will be anywhere from $450 to $600 per device. The previous time Meta increased the price of their headsets was due to a global supply shortage during the COVID-19 pandemic. Here's the problem: we're not in a pandemic. Meta isn't bleeding money. In fact, from what I've heard, the past few years post-COVID-19 have been some of the best for Meta financially. What monetary reason could they possibly have to raise the price of a standard VR headset to the borderline of or above $500? It feels like we're witnessing a deliberate shifting of the goalposts. When you see a piece of hardware that is supposed to be the entry point for the next generation of virtual reality at $500 or more, you aren't just adjusting for inflation. You're effectively locking out the younger generation, the younger demographic of like students, hobbyists, and the very people who built the creative heart of VR in the first place. You're changing the fundamental demographic of your user base from creators and innovators to whoever has enough disposable income to justify a luxury tax on their hobby. Now, I have no confirmation on this, but hear me out. I have a sneaking suspicion this is related to what I've spoken about on our previous adventures. This subject being that AI is the largest topic at Meta currently. Now, I know I've talked about AI at absolute nauseum at this point. Believe me, I don't like talking about it either. However, the technoslop elephant in the room must be acknowledged. Their main priority has shifted from their own metaverse ecosystem to training their own AI models for a variety of purposes. A lot of them require RAM chips and other vital tech pieces that make up VR equipment. Those are also used in their AI projects. So they're likely funneling the resources from their stock to train AI. As a consequence, they now have a diminished inventory of parts to build the headsets. It's a classic strategy of planned obsolescence, but applied to the entire ecosystem rather than a single device. By prioritizing the immediate massive profit margins of AI server-side training, they are effectively starving the consumer-side hardware market. We are literally watching the infrastructure of virtual reality we inhabit get cannibalized to feed a chatbot that nobody asked for. So, they're essentially charging us more for less. From my point of view, this is either a quick moneymaker or a method to price casual VR enthusiasts out and close their VR presence entirely. Honestly, I've had enough of this entire ordeal regarding Meta. If you want or need a VR headset, either buy one of Meta's headsets secondhand, or just wait for the Steam frame to come out. I'm personally waiting for the Steam frame, as I trust Valve leagues more than I do Meta as a company. Valve has had a long history of respecting the open source nature of PC gaming, and they genuinely want to sell good products and be fair to their consumers. Something Meta appears to have all but forgotten. So, yeah guys, maybe don't support Meta anymore. Now we move on to today's creation segment. Today we've got some pretty interesting stuff. Now, I know what you're thinking. We haven't moved at all like our previous expeditions. That's for a good reason. We've met here multiple times now, only to never actually explore this world. Allow me to introduce my homeworld and personal virtual studio, Drifting Milky Way, by stylish @Ship 2. It represents a shift in focus for us, from the outer reaches of the popular public worlds to the intimate spaces we inhabit daily. It's a testament to how even a smaller, more contained build can offer a sense of scale and presence that large, sprawling maps often lack. While many of their worlds use pre-made assets, from what I can gather, they have a tendency to use them in ways that allow their versions to stand out from the original works that they borrow from. The world itself is really interesting, as it's themed after a spaceship, but has all the comforts of a real home. When you enter the space, there's a comfy yet retro space-age sofa for you and your friends to sit on. There's also lots of portholes to look out and see what's outside the ship, but we'll get to that in a second. Across from the sofa is a media player with pre-programmed lists of music and videos. The music is nice and all, but I can't seem to figure out how to put my own playlists in there, or really get it to stop, as everything is written in Japanese. Sadly, I don't know a lick of Japanese, so I end up having to turn off the world volume and play music on YouTube through the use of my browser on my desktop. That arrangement isn't ideal, but I can look past it for the sake of common creator oversights and limitations. In terms of user experience design, this is a bit of a hurdle. For a homeworld meant to be lived in, the UI needs to be intuitive for any visitor. It serves as a reminder to all us creators, if you're building a world for the community, ensure that the controls are localized or at least icon-based, so the barrier for entry isn't a language gap. Also, I think the music being played on these playlists is copyrighted, comprising largely of Disney music, so unfortunately I can't play it for you guys. Sorry about that. Moving on to the main room, where we often meet for our adventures, there's a sofa built into the floor, which I'm sitting on right now, and behind me is a bunk bed and office setup. When I was a kid, I always wanted something like this, but my childhood house didn't have the ceiling height necessary for one. So, being able to live out my dream in VR is very nice. Not only do you have lots of office space, but the top bunk is also very spacious, in case you want to have maybe someone over. When we talk about VR ergonomics, we often overlook the need for these grounded, vertical designs. It maximizes the footprint of this world, making a room that's really small feel expansive. It's efficient use of 3D space, which is crucial when you're working with the optimization limits of the VRChat engine. Anyways, they also provide virtual pens, allowing you to draw or practice your signature or really anything. Something I always like about a good relaxation world is the ability to draw with these pens. There's a million different pen prefabs for worlds in VRChat these days, but no matter what, they're always a welcome addition to any world. Something I don't quite care for is the inclusion of this smoking device. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't judge people that enjoy smoking, but I personally don't like having this around. This is effectively my house, so I don't want it here. If the publisher of this world ever releases an update in the future, I would personally recommend that they include a toggle for this thing, as I personally don't want it around. Giving the user control of their own environment, such as toggling props on or off, is one of the most important aspects of a home world. It's the difference between a static museum and a living space that respects the owner's boundaries. Something that makes up for the inclusions I don't like is the overall aesthetic of the world. Something I've always had a passion for is science fiction and space travel, and merging the two together into one world that you can actually live in is an unparalleled opportunity that you likely won't get in the real world. Across the world, there are also tons of pixely screens that display stars and streaming lights. It feels very old school, like old Nintendo or Atari graphics. It harkens back to that era of user interface design that focused on utility and clarity rather than flashy, over-complex dashboards that we see on more modern, resource-heavy computers. It captures that specific 80s retro tech vibe that it just really grounds the experience. Most importantly are the windows and portholes viewing outside. Below, you can see planet Earth, space dust floating past, and stars of nearby solar systems. And, if you look closely, these stars actually twinkle and flicker like they do in real life. The retro display screens and the twinkling of the stars, that all may seem pointless to include, but they're really part of the visual identity of this world. They're neat effects that are subtle, but ones that really set off the world. Aside from a couple issues that could honestly be fixed with the inclusion of a proper video player and some toggles, this world is a really relaxing place to both work and just chill with your friends. Now we shift gears from the relaxing home world we just looked at to something that demands a little bit more from the player. If the last world was a place to sit back and relax, this world is a place to get things done. I welcome you to Prismic's Avatar Search. When I look for worlds to feature on this show, I'm not just looking for pretty scenery. I'm looking for worlds that actually help solve a problem. Most worlds that we've visited so far act as sort of static backdrops, a sort of digital wallpaper. But Prismic's is built on the concept of actually being useful. It's the closest thing that VRChat has to a Google, but for avatars. It immediately stands out because it doesn't want you to just walk around and look at the walls. It wants to help you find your new look. It's a great example of how community creators are making tools that change how we experience the platform, turning VRChat from just a game to a place where you can actually get stuff accomplished. Let's start with how this place actually works. The real magic here is the search tool. What I love is how fast it is. When you type in a search query or click on a category, the results pop up instantly. In my experience with other search worlds, the biggest annoyance is usually just waiting. You try to scroll through the list of hundreds of things, and the menu either doesn't register your click or takes forever to catch up, which makes the whole experience feel sluggish. Here, everything moves exactly as fast as you do. The way they've set up the search categories and the menus shows that they actually really put the user first. It's not just about getting the job done. It's about making the interaction feel natural and easy. You can tell the creator spent a lot of time making sure the menu didn't get in the way of what you're actually trying to find, which is surprisingly rare for a public world. One of the things I always keep an eye out for is how well the world actually runs. A world that looks great, but makes your headset stutter, is a world people won't want to visit twice. And that goes double for a world that you're constantly clicking through menus on. Prismic, on the other hand, really hits a solid balance here. Even when you have a huge group of people crowded around the search boards all at the same time, the world stays pretty smooth, and that's not by accident. That's because the creator was smart about how they built the space. It's a perfect example of a world that's meant to be used, not just admired. The menus are surprisingly easy to figure out. Too many creators fall into the trap of making their interfaces way too complex, almost like you need a engineering degree just to navigate the exit button. Here, everything is clearly laid out. If you're looking for a blueprint on how to make a menu that doesn't frustrate your users, this is definitely one to study. Now, it's not without a few minor frustrations. The look of the world is, well, purely functional. It lacks the cozy or sci-fi flair we saw in Drifting Milky Way. But I suppose that's to be expected from something that's purely meant to be a database. However, the biggest issue is the sheer amount of old stuff in the mix. Because the database is so old and huge, you often end up scrolling through avatars that are broken or just don't load anymore. It would be a massive quality of life improvement if there was a simple way to filter out the dead links. For instance, when you're hunting a specific look, you have to look through like 5 broken avatars before finding one that actually works. That's the main thing that has personally slowed me down. A simple addition of adding some kind of filter to report broken uploads or something like that would fix that entire issue. But honestly, that's a minor complaint in an otherwise well-polished package. The reason why this world just works and why I wanted to personally spotlight it is that it understands its own purpose perfectly, to a T. It doesn't try to be 10 different things all at once like some of the other worlds we visited in previous adventures. It focuses on one core mechanic and polishes it until it shines. If you're a new user or just someone who's tired of their current look, don't waste hours hopping through individual avatar worlds made by different creators. This is the place that should serve as your one-stop shop for avatars. If not, this is the place you should check out first. It's rare to find a creator who can marry good performance with genuine day-to-day utility. But Prismic's avatar search hits that mark. It's a reminder that VR chat is more than just a place to hang out. It's a sandbox for the developers. And when you see a project like this, you realize how much potential there is for useful tools. Honestly, Prismic's avatar search is definitely the gold standard for VR chat worlds and just tools for VR in general. If you're looking for an avatar, definitely come here first. And with that, today's adventure is over. This has been Across the MetaVRse. If you like what you saw here, please come and watch us again, as more episodes are coming soon. In fact, another one is being made right now as this one comes out. Let us know if there's anything you'd like us to see next. Your suggestions are what keeps this show strong and alive, and keeps us bringing content straight to you. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day.